So what happened to...
Oh, yeah, my dog. Okay, so basically he couldn't open his eyes this afternoon.
Okay, never a good sign.
Yeah, so we took it. So basically, they were basically like, look, it's minor, so it's not like a major thing, but that's $200 for the medication.
Fuck.
Fuck me, man.
Mini-sub.
Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out!
Savage.
Minor is $20. You know?
Yeah, minor is just flush it out with water, you'll be right, mate.
That's just the fucking medication. That's not even the consultation. Fuck you guys. God damn.
So how are we going? We
Two-man show
got a good
tonight.
agenda for the show?
What's that?
Have you got a good agenda for the show? I mean, we can kind of talk about All-Star now that Vince isn't on the line.
I know, no Vince tonight, guys. He's off doing Vince things, whatever the hell that means.
We don't want to know.
So I didn't have any All-Star news planned to talk about on the show just because Vince was just like, straight off the bat, I'm not talking about Allstar Weekend because he just boycotts it now, which I actually know a lot of people who do that now.
Yeah, and it's a fair thing to do. It's turned into an open lane, no defense mockery of a game, and the guys that we grew up with in the 90s and late 80s would just be just rolling in their graves if they were in their graves, and they're not, and we're glad they're not. Yeah,
I mean, it's like a very, like I say it every year, like, this is ridiculous, and I get mad, and I always swear that next year I won't watch it, but always watch it because nostalgia, and I want it to be good. Like, I think that's the thing. I want it to be good, but I didn't watch the game live, the All-Star game itself live. I watched it later, but when I saw the scoreline, I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Look, the first quarter was obviously get the ball to Giannis. Yeah. The second quarter it opened up a little bit more. I will say, in all fairness, it was a game after halftime. It really was. Look, there was still a paper mache matador defense. Like it was still pretty hopeless, but LeBron's team really wanted to win it, and it was a totally different game. It's cliche. It was a game of two halves, but for anybody watching or hasn't seen it yet, skip the first half and watch the competition after halftime.
Yeah. No, it did pick up a little bit, but even still, by then it was too far gone. It was just like, I can almost excuse like when we had like the Rising Star games, and then they changed that to the USA versus World game now?
Yes.
Yeah, and I can almost understand that mental defense, like letting dudes like run in for open dunks and stuff like that. But All-Star game, come on, man.
I know, the pride's gone. I mean, I get it. You don't want to get injured or roll an ankle or hyperextend or anything at an All-Star game. I mean, you don't want that to happen, and you don't want to be the guy that played hard defense that made that happen. But again, we grew up and you watched the All-Star games back when we were falling in love with the game, and it's just so different. Those guys actually had pride and they wanted to win.
But didn't they last year? I feel like it was last year they stepped in and didn't they up the bounty on the All-Star game itself? So it was like more incentive.
I think this is the first year. I think after last year was the whole hoo-ha about how lame it was, and you've got to do something about it. So I think this was the year that the prize money really was up the ante.
So here's what I reckon. I don't reckon the NBA can actually fix this. I think this is going to come down to one ballsy coach. One ballsy coach got to walk into that locker room and go, if you don't play hard, you're not getting court time, which means less exposure for you, but put up like 10K on any player who can get 15 steals. Put up 10K on any player who can get 25 rebounds. You know what I mean? Like, up it on the defensive ante.
Yeah, I actually like the fact now that they can draft it, and now that you get a mix of East and West and friends and, recruitment happening on All-Star Weekend, it kind of makes it a little bit hard. But I liked it when it was when it was East and it was West, and I like it's been floated around a couple of times, and I think some guys mentioned it on the Courtside Facebook page last year that in baseball, the team that wins the All-Star gets to have home court advantage should they reach the finals. And so if you could be in the East or the West, you could theoretically finish the regular season with a lower win-loss record. But if you won the All-Star game, you could carry in a home court advantage into the final. If there was something that big on the line, I think they'd play.
I'd be down with that. I'd be down with that, sure. Hey, you mentioned Friends. Speaking of Friends.
Yes.
I've got to say, and I went back, I actually, since the All-Star game, I actually went back and watched the last 3 All-Star games before it.
Wow, okay.
Just to I suppose, cement my train of thought, because I don't know if you saw it, I've definitely seen a lot of clips after the fact, in the All-Star tunnel and stuff like that, but I was pretty much just thought Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant going to New York was the biggest load of hoo-ha ever.
They hang out heaps.
After, but just the way Irving acted around Durant during this All-Star weekend, like, obviously, you've probably seen the little clip of them talking in the tunnel. It looks like Irving saying 2 max. They got 2 max spots.
What? I have not seen that.
Oh, I'll send you some links. It literally looks like he says that. But, like, just them kidding around, during the shootout when Durant wins the spoilers, when he wins the MVP and Irving jumps from over the back to rub his head, and it's just like, come on, man. Come on, bro. So I'm convinced they're both going to New York now. I'm just like, yeah, it's a done deal. Because going back,
done your detective work.
Dude, I watched the last 3 All-Star games before it just to see how they act around each other. He's never acted like that around you before. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so something's changed.
And my God, that was a slog watching those games.
Yeah, man, you are dedicated.
I did watch them in fast forward, but nonetheless.
Yeah, that's dedication. That's interesting. Okay, so the demeanor's changed, the relationships up the ante. They're taking it to the next level.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, look, I think this is Irving convincing Durant to go sign. Because Durant still looks like, look, just trying to read body language, not that I'm a professional or anything.
Yes, you are. You watch 3 All-Star games. You are.
So just ask those 3 girls I have a stalking lawsuit against me. I don't read body language well.
Cut that out. Don't name names.
Edit that out. It looks like Durant's a bit on the fence about everything. Like, a little bit like, oh, okay, like, but, man, there's definitely, like, some serious tampering shit going on.
Yeah, it's hard to flirt with your side piece when your main squeeze is standing next to you.
Right?
he's standing in the crowd next to Steph and Draymond and Clay. He's like,
actually,
Kyrie, shut the fuck up.
Actually, if you watch it again, like, this would take you no time to research. I think it's just after the after Durant gets the MVP, and it's like LeBron, Irving, Durant, and someone else there now. But when Irving and Durant like joking around, Westbrook's off to the side, and the look on his face is like, "What the fuck is going on here?" Like, it's like it's one of I know what's going on. Like,
okay.
It's priceless, no doubt.
Right. Well, he had his moment last year. I mean, when he and he and Paul George were orchestrating what they were going to do. So yeah, Russ has had his little mini recruitment drives.
Yeah. So I mean, that was All-Star game for me anyway. Look, no Vince here, so we can delve into All-Star Weekend a little bit more. Any highlights or underwhelmings? Don't comment.
My highlight of the entire weekend is Smokin' Joe Harris winning the 3-point contest.
Your boy.
My boy. I had a gut feel. I think I wrote it down. I think there was a comment thread on the Courtside page, but I called it. I wanted him to win it, and I'm so pumped. he really came out of the gate. Like, it was a really high-scoring first round from a couple of people. And I thought for sure when he came out, I think he got 24 or 25 in the first round. I thought he was a shoo-in, and he ended up coming in third and just scraping in. But he kept his composure, and it was really cool.
It was. I really enjoyed the three-point shootout this year. I thought that was fantastic. Yeah, and as soon as he won, I was like, Stu shed a little tear just then.
I did. I literally, my kids were like, "You're so embarrassing." I like fist pumped and I stood up in the lounge room. It's like he's just like us. Like, I mean,
Smoking
3 years ago, the guy, undrafted, and he was literally somebody. I read somewhere that he was like a garbage man, or he was working for some sort of recycled garbage company.
Yep.
And was just playing pickup hoops and trying to get a 10-dayer. I mean, and now look at the guy. It's an awesome story.
Yeah. He's going to, when his deal's up, he's going to go for some money, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. He really is. He's an absolute marksman, and you could tell his spots, and you could tell why he had the money ball as his last rack, man. He was hot. I'll tell you what, though, in terms of contrast, I don't think anybody gave Chris Middleton a snowball's chance in hell in the three-point competition, and he did not disappoint.
Yeah.
Fast forward to the All-Star game, I think everyone might have felt a little bit sorry for him. They were getting him looks, and dude was absolutely red hot in the big game, and I think reminding everybody that he was a worthy selection. But apart from that, man, the weekend a bit of a fizzer, and I don't want to talk about the dunk contest because it wasn't one.
Yeah, 100%. Another thing, it's funny to talk about All-Star Weekend, and most of the courtside regulars have probably heard my All-Star Weekend experience in Phoenix, meeting one of my childhood heroes, Mitch Richmond, the Legends three-point shootout.
Oh, yes!
Look, sometimes it's best not to meet your heroes and let their let the nostalgia and legacy ride off into the sunset, and I think that's exactly what they should have done with the Legends three-point shootout, because that was very hard to watch. That was but
yeah.
if we did you see Daryl Morey from obviously the general manager for Houston Rockets offered Ray Allen a 10-day contract?
I did see that. I saw that yesterday.
I don't think he's. I think his body's probably copper pounding. Like, he's definitely still in shape. I don't think he's in NBA shape.
He looks fit.
And he can still stroke it, but I think it's a bad idea. Don't do it, Ray.
Well, I think it's better that he offered it to Ray than Glenn Rice. Holy shit! I mean, there was
Which
a time
one? There was two
in NBA history where we joked that Glenn Rice's full name was Glenn Rice for three, because it was insane. The guy was money, but now it looks like Glenn Rice has been eating for three.
Oh man, he's a big boy.
He is a big dude.
God damn.
Yeah, but look, I mean, I guess that's probably the one thing that's missing in Houston's rotation: a three-point shooter.
Yeah. Yeah. Could definitely do more of those.
Yeah.
Jesus. Any thoughts on Chicago getting the next call-up? Why did bad teams keep getting fucking All-Star weekends?
Yeah, I know. It's just weird that they've got a bad product out.
Because then they're just trying to squeeze guys in, that don't really deserve to be there.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. In terms of value and market and selling out arenas and things like that, I mean, Chicago still have a massive fan base. It is still one of the busiest cities in all of North America. And so, I mean, I get it in terms of a destination. Lots of people go there. Lots of people visit there. It's going to be a good time. I get that. But, I mean, geez, I don't know. They're going to get a high draft pick as well. So maybe they're thinking it's going to be electric, and I don't get it. Again, like you just said, I mean, it's like a reward for being shit.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's like a
consolation prize?
Yeah, tap on the bum, encouragement. Come on, you guys can do better. Come on. Come
on, kiddo.
We'll throw you some money away and turn this shit around, all right? Come on.
Well, if that's the way it works, Memphis are probably a chance next year.
We're 2021. It's ours.
Yeah.
Woo. Can't
Hey,
wait.
I'll tell you what, wouldn't it be good if Dolan does sell, and I don't want to jump onto the agenda if that's coming up later in the show, but if Dolan sells, they tank, they get the number 1 draft pick, and they can pick up an All-Star game soon. That'd be electric.
If you were about to say, and Dolan buys the Memphis Grizzlies, I was going to hang up. I was hanging up. My goodness. That for me as a Memphis fan would be the equivalent of the Lakers signing Dwight Howard and Coach Pringles.
Bring it back to D'Antoni.
Yeah. Whoa. Well, he passed out then.
Dolan's a weird unit, but I don't think he's into that sort of self-punishment.
No. Wait a minute.
Hang on, why am I agreeing with you?
Yeah, it's true. It's a fair comment, though, but still. Look, jumping from All-Star Weekend out of that, we'll take the assist. A guy that I thought was great during All-Star Weekend. He made some comments today that I thought were pretty cool. Damian Lillard, man. You know, sometimes you follow a player and you just, I don't know, they just fall to the back shelf. Maybe their team's just sitting in the grey, so, you know, you don't have to keep an eye on them. But every now and then you just go, man, fuck, that guy's good. Just his comments about, you know, him not willing to sell out, you know, just to win a chip, I thought was very, very interesting. But I also thought, I wonder how you feel after another 5 years in Portland.
Yeah, look, I believe in his heart of hearts that that's the kind of dude that he wants to be, and he wants to retire. And look, there's no shame. We've all got heroes and players who had great careers and didn't win championships. You know, we've got the Barkleys and the Millers and the Weathers and those guys. But
Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree. Who'd you say?
Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah. So No Chill Gil. We love No Chill Gil. But yeah, I do think that you're busting your ass, leaving it all on the line, bleeding for a team like he does and will continue to do. Yeah, you get 5 years down the track. I wouldn't begrudge him if his train of thought and line of thinking changed.
Yeah, I think maybe with, I don't know, man, you know what? Fuck, they traded Paul Pierce from Boston. Like, I waved that white flag years ago, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it will come to a point, it doesn't matter how loyal he is, it'll come to a point where the franchise needs to move on, and they'll move him on. Like, maybe he won't bounce, but they'll move him on first, you know?
Yeah, and hopefully it's a managerial decision that we just decide to part ways. We get him into a good situation and we make the right trade for him. I think even up to this point, I mean, what is he, a four-time All-Star now?
Yeah.
You know, and he doesn't take a night off. He does not stop playing, and he's a dead set baller. He's everything I wish John Wall could be, man. John says all these comments in the preseason about chip on shoulder and everything, whereas Dame just goes out there and fucking does it, and he's a beast. And
it's evident by the record. I mean, even this year's record at the moment, like 34-23, they're sitting fourth in the Western Conference. You know, they're 6-4 in the last 10. I think they've got a game against Brooklyn tomorrow, but it's like, you know, that's all he's back. I mean, I love CJ. I love the guys out there. Man, great addition bringing in Cantor. I'll just say that.
Yes.
I'm fucking really happy for that guy because...
So happy for him, yeah.
I feel like Portland, though, like if they can make the Cantor thing work and work him next to... Is it Nikola? No, who's their big guy?
They've got Jokic.
Jokic, yeah. If they can make that work...
Nurkic,
sorry, yeah. If they can make that work, I think they're like a good free agent signing away from making some real... You know, making a jump. Because they've played some great games and they've knocked off some good teams.
They've got a real gritty roster. Like I genuinely, pretty much anyone that they sub on is going to give them something, even if it's just a hustle, rebound, or a defensive set. Like they really genuinely do. Even Evan Turner's playing really good for him. Rodney Hood proved, towards the tail end of last season when he was acquired by the Cavs to make their late run that, he can produce in a playoff scenario, and I think he's going to be sneaky good. I kind of laughed at it as being a bit of a no move and a bit of a nothing trade at the time, but I do think come playoff time, Hood's going to get some burn, Turner's going to get some burn. They're a deep team. I wouldn't want to play them in the first round. I know they don't have any history of really advancing recently, but I would not want to play them in the first round.
Yeah, well, I mean, Hood unfortunately was the byproduct of Utah drafting well and Donovan Mitchell exploding onto the scene. His minutes got drastically cut because they had this rising star. He got traded to Cleveland where he didn't want to go and made it public and didn't want to play. Then he kind of got his act together after LeBron left and went, well, this is now an opportunity. Now he's been moved to Portland. I'm giving the kid the second chance for sure.
I think it'll be a good fit. I think it'll serve a purpose for them. They did need outside shooting because defenses really were just honing in on McCollum and Lillard. So, he can stretch that offense for them, and I definitely think they'll use him in the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, man. I can't remember if we talked or if it happened after the fact of our last show about Dell Demps being fired from the Pelicans.
No, I think... Did that happen?
I feel like it happened after the fact. I feel like we definitely talked about Anthony Davis and Pelicans not taking that deal, but I just find it really strange that they fire him now because they didn't make the trade. All the focus then moved to, all right, this potential deal coming next season with Boston. I don't understand on the grounds they're firing because surely, I know he's the general manager, but surely the circumstance of your franchise player requesting a trade and, the handling of that and the timing of that is, even another topic. But surely upper management and ownership is going to have a say in that.
Yeah, look, I don't really know. Yeah, I agree. I just don't know what the circumstance was because he was summoned to the corporate office after... I think Davis scored 3 points and got injured.
Yeah, he shot
in a game,
and then he left. And he left the stadium. He didn't. Yeah. He didn't stay because they're talking to coach afterwards, and he didn't even know that he left.
Yeah, didn't even know that he'd left. And so I think I guess the give or take was that we're now hitched to Anthony Davis for the rest of this season, and potentially, if we can't get a deal over the course of the season, into next season as well. Because you got to remember he's still under contract.
Yeah.
So they've got to make it work to a degree that the guy's still producing on the floor, or still not a locker room cancer, or still tradable. I just think Demps had to go because the situation was toxic.
Maybe. I just find it weird. I just find it very weird to not at least let it go through the next season. And do you know what I mean? Because to me, not taking that LA deal is saying, no, we want to hold out and see what Boston has to offer and go from there. I don't know. That's my logic behind it. But I just, it's a fucking weird situation, man.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad it didn't go through because, as Vince and I have discussed, it was just too much on the table.
Yeah.
But I honestly think, and we'll go back to this show and we can play this part again and you can put a laugh track over it if I'm wrong, but I don't think that they will get a better deal, if it's true, than Kuzma, Ball, Ingram, picks, and whatever, Beasley and Stevenson. I genuinely, Danny Ainge ain't going to fuck with that. He's not going to go and give him a Tatum and a Horford, and he's just not going to do it. He's too good a GM.
Yeah, 100%. Geez, it's a Vinceless show when we've talked about Allstar Weekend, Portland, and New Orleans.
I know, right?
We would never get away with this on the show with Vince. My God.
Our listeners are going, where are these teams from?
Yeah. Love you, Vince. Hey, this morning I got up and I was just, you just flick through your phone, the topics, and this weird little post popped up from ESPN about Tim Donaghy and him admitting to cheating. And I thought, that's really strange. That's weird. Like, we already know that. Like, that's why he got suspended. That's why he's out of the league. Like, I thought that was common knowledge. Didn't think any of it, walked away. Came back this afternoon after, my day, and saw, like, another ESPN post, much the same tone, but, 2 years after. And I'm like, what? It's been longer. It's fucking been years. Like, it's been longer than 2 years. So, times are rough. Or, it's Allstar Weekend when you have to regurgitate ESPN celebrating the 2-year anniversary of them writing an article on TikTok. Come on, guys.
That's a slow news day.
Come on, guys. Get your shit together. I just had to bring it up. I'm sorry. I thought it was...
We're doing that commemorative story of the time that David Stern retired. It's been 5 years. Let's talk about it again.
Yeah, far out.
That's random. I did read though that there was actually some new information that's come out, because he got done for cheating and things like that. But apparently more's come out just recently, or maybe he's writing a book. I don't know what the deal is, but apparently there's more come out about how systematic it was and how he was actually doing it, and apparently it's almost to the point where I believe somebody, I'm trying to think of the name, wants to actually make a movie about it.
Well, I'm not actually surprised, because I remember it all down when he first sort of broke his silence. He did write a book. I have obviously haven't given the time of day to read the book, but have heard him actually talk about it on other interviews. And podcasts and stuff like that about his book and what went down, and it's actually pretty interesting. Like, it's actually pretty interesting, his take and his view on the NBA. And look, from what all, take his word with a grain of salt, I suppose, but I kind of believe him, like, because to orchestrate something like that, I don't think you could do that by yourself in the NBA.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, because he was definitely calling out other referees and of course, his name's been blacklisted by the NBA, so he gets no real voice. But
yeah, look, I mean, it's like anything in life. I mean, there's an opportunity to get a financial gain out of it. Someone's going to work the system, and look, he was doing it in plain sight for a very long time. But look, I agree. I'm sure to a degree. Not that we're going to hold any sympathy for the guy, but he's definitely a scapegoat for a greater mechanism of essentially fraud. But yeah, I'd be really down for a movie. I'm not going to buy a book that's going to give him any money, but I'm all down for for 2 hours of entertainment away from my children. So I'll watch the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, look, since our little last show hiatus and the All-Star Weekend, some silent little moves went down. The one that I actually really like is Markieff Morris signing with the Thunder.
I have no idea how I didn't know that.
Crazy move, right? It's apparently he had, there was a few teams, being thrown out in the wind. Obviously, the Lakers, because if anyone's available, they're a Lakers target.
Apparently, we were pretty serious. We did free up a roster spot, and we do need a forward. So, okay.
I mean, great acquisition by the Thunder, though. I mean, we spoke not so long ago actually about Steven Adams and the missing hole, really, that has been there since they traded Enes Kanter away. So I kind of feel like this kind of fits that mold a little bit more, but Morris has, obviously you can stretch the floor a bit further with a 3-point shot, but a nice solid move for him.
Great move. That is an awesome four. Honestly, if they would, he'd be there. He should be their starting four. I think playing alongside, Adams would be amazing. They've still got Nerlens Noel, who's playing great basketball. And they're a freaking good team. The only thing that disappoints me about the Thunder is they've had a couple of losses at home that they really should have won, and it kind of deflated my fan balloon for them, in the sense that I really thought that they could actually make some noise in the playoffs, but then they've lost some games at home that are almost inexcusable.
Yeah.
But maybe he's that piece to tip them over the edge. But one thing's for certain. Russ is going to get another season of averaging a triple-double. Mm-hmm. It's more impressive than the last two that I've seen, because he's integrating and he's stepping aside. This really, honestly, is as incredible as averaging a triple-double is. This is Paul George's team, man.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
Totally.
Like, Paul George is playing MVP level.
100%. He is the sleeper. I don't know why more people aren't talking about it. It's all Giannis, and if LeBron can get the Lakers into and everything, and Harden's doing his shit. Fuck that, man. Paul George is a bad man, and right now he's playing the best basketball of his career without a doubt.
Look, if it went down to if the MVP got decided today, I would probably still give the nod to Giannis.
I would too.
But I think the next in line is Paul George for me.
Yeah, it's insane, man. His three-point shot is so much better. He wants the ball in crunch time, and he's delivering. And, man, his agility and his moves, he's on another level. It's so good to see a guy, 6'8", 6'9", coming off a freaking snapped knee, doing what he's doing.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, that injury. God damn, gave me flashbacks.
Yeah. Well, not knee. What was it? Fibula? Yeah. It was filth. It was bad.
Don't talk about that. That's great.
Yeah.
Shivers. Look, another move that... I'm convinced me about this because I'm a little bit on the fence about it. I think that you're a bit of a fan of it. And Jeremy Lin gets his buyout and goes signs with the Raptors.
Massive fan. I'm a huge Jay Lin fan. We didn't use him well in LA, but it was just a weird time for us back then, and I don't want to talk about that either. But I'm a massive Jeremy Lin fan, and we kind of knock a little bit on Kyle Lowry and his playoff performances and or lack thereof in crunch time. He gives you somebody who is not scared of the spotlight and will take that game-winning or game-breaking shot. To have that guy, sharing time with Van Vliet as well, it's solid. It's a real good acquisition.
I think Van Vliet's down and injured right now, so Lin's minutes are going to open up, which would be good.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, it's good timing. Van Vliet, they're not shutting him down for the season, but he's got a long-term recovery, which is going to be great for Lin to get into the system.
Yeah.
But dude, he's just a baller, and he's not scared of the stage.
Yeah, I was going to say, the thing I like about Lin's game is he's not afraid to mix it up. When he's at his best, it's his... I mean, everyone talks about that, that game winner in Toronto, and, obviously he's gone to Toronto, so everyone's like reflecting on that shot, which is great and all, but that was, he's also been removed from that for a long time now and been battling injuries. Yeah. I mean, the Brooklyn years are just a wipeout. Played pretty serviceable for Atlanta until the trade, but he's at his best when the ball's in his hands and he's in attack mode.
Yeah. 100%. And look, I think he's trying to just go back to basics as well. Let's be honest. He went through a stage where obviously he was riding the wave, and the wave of popularity and the sensationalism and the insanity. He was rocking dreadlocks and copping shade, and he was doing the flat top, and he was doing and now he's back to flat top fade, just like he was at the Knicks. And it seems like he's back to just focusing on his bread and butter basketball. And as we saw in Atlanta, that's a good brand of basketball. Like Jeremy Lin, it's not a gimmick. He's not the league in any favors. He's a really good basketball player, and the Raptors got better. And also, it's good that I guess Atlanta have admitted that we are still in tank mode and rebuild mode, but all those minutes are going to be Trae Young's, and that's great for his career as well. So it was a good trade for everybody, but I think the Raptors, they're going to need him and they're going to use him in crunch times.
Yeah. Look, another guard that's battled a bit of injury. I don't know if you saw the game. Was who they play? It was Sacramento, Denver, and Isaiah Thomas. His debut for the season. Fucking great, man. I was really happy for him that the fans gave him that standing ovation, and he played pretty well.
Yeah, I only saw the box score and maybe a highlight or two. I saw him drop a three on Instagram, and he wrote some caption about being back, and he was getting mad love from NBA circles. Like, I think he's like the poster guy for, as the dude that should have got paid, got injured, and didn't get paid.
Yeah.
And man, whenever he does something, like, it's like almost like Derrick Rose, like the league celebrates his success.
Yeah.
He has got so many people in his corner. Honestly, like, if he was to get waived, I think that a big player who's got a lot of say would get their general manager to give him a contract. Like, he's going to be employed for a very long time because of the love that the league has for him. And it's great to see him back.
Yeah. I feel like we need to check the pulse on the New York Knicks and our fans, because they've had quite the roller coaster this past 24 hours with. I don't know if you read the reports. The reports coming out that James Dolan was fielding offers to sell the Knicks, which I find a little bit interesting, considering that didn't they just get named like the highest grossing team in the league not so long ago? Was it like $2 billion or something stupid?
Yeah, they've been at top of the Forbes valuation list for quite some time. But then when Steve Ballmer went and paid stupid money for the Clippers, that pushed everyone's paper value up. And the Knicks went from being worth $1 billion to worth 2.5, I think, billion.
Yeah, I mean, look, of course, anytime there's something's reported, there's always a counter report there. So, of course, the Knicks brass are shooting down the rumours about Dolan, and him looking for offers to sell the team. But, look, my gut feeling with this is, I'm sorry, Knicks fans, I feel like you're just stuck with Dolan. I just don't see him selling the team. Like, I think look, it's valued at $2 billion. Dolan's probably asking for $4 billion. And he's not going to get it. And I just don't see him. He's just in his cushy bubble. He's untouchable. He doesn't have to do shit with the team. It makes its own money because of where it's situated. And he can go play these blues concerts and fucking make no money there. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know. I really, like everybody else, and you included, I want it to be true.
Oh, yeah.
He owns Madison Square Garden. I mean, his family, the Dolan family, and him by virtue of running the corporation. I mean, they own Madison Square Garden, so he gets revenue regardless. If somebody with a better basketball head and a passion for the game can A, line his pockets, and B, fill his arena with a product that is even better than it currently is. I don't know. I don't think it's beyond the realm of comprehension. I mean, he owns the television network, he owns the ice hockey team, he owns the building. I mean, dude doesn't need the money. Does he need the basketball team? I hope the answer is no. I would love him to sell it. It'd be the best thing for basketball.
Oh, 100%. Honestly, like, Zion's going to be so good for the league. I just want him to go to a good team.
After seeing John Collins and Trey at Allstar Weekend, man, God, Atlanta would be fun if he went there.
Oh yeah. I just want him to go to. I don't want him to go to the league and just be like thrown under the bus, thrown to the wolves. Like, I just want him to go to a good spot.
Yeah, look, I honestly think any of the guys that are most likely to get the number one pick, I think they're all going to be good situations, but they've all got tweaking to do, particularly in New York. I mean, with no Kristaps, with huge cap space, and no one else really. Look, obviously they got Knox, they've got. I guess you've got a couple of glimmers of hope, but it's a big market. I just can't wait to see who gets the ping pong ball. It's almost as exciting as waiting to see who's going to represent the East in the finals if we conclude that the Warriors are going to rep the West again. Yeah.
Would Atlanta be your pick if, like, your ideal team for him, you think?
Yeah. Based on the product that's on the... Look, I mean... Yeah, I think based on, if I look at the rosters now where he would slot in, I just think they would be exciting as hell. And let's not forget, they're already in so many games this season that they've lost by 5 or lost by 2 or lost by 1. They're not as bad as their record indicates, and plugging him into that young matrix, I just think it'd be awesome. I'd almost worry if he went to New York, how much rock's he going to get if they do sign the two that we mentioned earlier, Kyrie and KD. Or even AD and Kyrie, whatever it might be. I worry, not would that hinder his development. He's a prodigal basketball talent, but how much rock's he going to get?
Yeah. I'm kind of the same wavelength with you, but I have a different team in mind. I feel like if he was inserted into this team, it'd be a lot quicker turnaround. But
okay.
And look, I'm saying this is a total bias, and I don't know what their picks are like, but I say this I would actually like to see him in Orlando. I think he'd be a good fit, and they've, much like Atlanta, man. Like, I know I am aware where they sit on the ladder, but they've stuck us to some teams this year.
Yeah, I actually thought you were going to say that, and I was going to jump in. I thought, no, I'll let you go with it because I'd love to see him in the pinstripes.
Mm-hmm.
They got a good young core. It doesn't sound like they're going to keep Vucevic in the off season, but still,
dude, they have no luck with centers. They deserve a good small forward. God damn it! I mean, they lost Shaq, they lost Dwight. They're probably losing Vucevic. Like, come on.
Yeah. They probably will, but man, that'd be that'd be an up tempo, fun team to watch. And like you said, they started the season all right, and they've stuck into some good teams as well.
Mm.
Yeah. And they got a good coach, so that'd be fun.
Bit of a short show tonight. Oh, actually, it's not even that short. But once I edit it down, it'll be short. But by the time you guys are listening to this, I'll be in Hawaii, so.
That's it. You're just ready to go sip Mai Tais on Waikiki, aren't you?
I'm like a couple of hours away from bouncing. I got to do some editing before get this show out to the fans.
You don't even care about us. Dude, hey, it's a rainy, drizzly ass day in Sydney. You're picking the best time to leave.
I know, right?
It's gonna be dope.
I'm going to Hawaii. I'm on the search for the next Buddy Hield. Wish me luck.
Just keep your eye out for giant teeth.
Yes.
I tell you what. Speaking of Buddy, and he deserves to be spoken about every podcast if we have the time. Really, really stoked for him to make the finals of the 3-point competition.
Yeah.
Not everybody would get a chance to watch Sacramento Kings games, and given the last probably 7 or 8 years worth of record.
Yeah,
I don't blame anybody for not watching Sacramento Kings games, but there's a huge shift happening over there. We have spoken about it a couple of times, but for Buddy to be recognised on that All-Star stage in the sense that he made that top 3 in the 3-point competition and, put his name out there. And, if you've got League Pass and you're not checking out the Kings games, exciting basketball coming out of North Cali.
Yeah, 100%. If you've been putting off watching Sacramento Kings games, this is the season to do it. I mean, they are just outside the 8th seed. I'm pretty sure all us three we're rooting for them to slip in there. I think I don't know, man. This Clippers squad, they're just, I don't know.
Hey, they got Zubats now. That's going to probably put them over the edge. They could finish as high as 3rd.
Oh, those Laker shades. If only they made them in the grizzly blue.
Look, in the absence of Vince, I had to get it in, and if we end the show on a Lakers-related high, I've done my job. Enjoy your holiday, big dog.
Thanks, man. And of course, if you'd like more basketball high, you can catch us at the website, www.crtsde.podbean.com. Down there, guys, you'll find links to the Facebook page where we are there throughout the week with our regular rants and insane posts. I didn't think that last one was too insane, but still.
Come on.
And, of course, you'll find links to all of our other great shows that we put up over the years. Man, I think we're up to, episode... We must be 335 now.
Yeah, we're chipping away towards 350.
Let's get that 500 mark. That's right. A big one for the 500, I reckon.
Yeah, well, you can take us to Hawaii next time you go. Maybe not.
Well, we'll see. I don't know.
Well, if that big check from Latvia.com finally arrives in our bank account, maybe.
When's that going to pay off?
No.
Vince plugs them every week.
Maybe he's getting the friggin' money.
Maybe he's already in Hawaii. Hang on.
God damn it.
Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out!
Ball.